Today I got to sit down with Richard Harrow, Juno Award-winning record producer and mixing mastering engineer, and got to learn a little about the recording industry.
What was your first job and what did you do?
Okay, I had my first paying engineering job in 1974. I'd been working as a musician up until then, but my first studio job was in 1974 at a studio called Sound West here in Calgary, which was on 16th Avenue, and now there's a Unitarian church, I think at First Street and 16th Avenue Northwest, actually. And I had, up until I had done some recording before then, and I'd done some home recording with a 4-track recorder that I had, and worked up a demo of a bunch of songs from a musical that I had written. And we ended up getting a government grant, and we ended up recording the record at that studio at Sound West, which had just opened. And through kind of a process of the engineer there, I got along great with him, and I asked him lots of questions about what he was doing and everything. And I think at one point I ended up being able to do a few of my own overdubs in the evenings. And I gradually became the other guy that knew how to run the studio and how to actually record there. So when an opening came for a second engineer, I was the one who was asked to do that. So it was kind of a slow work your way in, be at the right place at the right time kind of situation.
Over the years of working in the industry, what are some of the proudest moments or accomplishments?
It's kind of funny, and I've got 2 Junos and 2 records that went gold and one that went on to go platinum. All other people's projects, but all projects I worked on and got had the trophies for. I remember my son when he was really young, when he figured out what a Juno was, and we had one sitting on the piano. He was all surprised that I hadn't mentioned it earlier and everything. And it was, once in a while, like, oh yeah, I got one of those. Because, I think probably, I've got several, I've done like 10, I'm working on CD number 10 right now of my own stuff. And so I tend to put more into that. But only the people that buy those at my shows ever hear them. So I can't really pin down one thing, You look for, you always hope the project you're working on next is going to be the best one ever.
So what do you think makes somebody really good at this job?
It's really just about doing the job. It's just about, making sure you show up on time and that you learn as much as you can, and that you're a real perfectionist. Some people are really fast at doing stuff and catch on really quickly, but sometimes those kind of people get bored really quickly, and so this is a customer-related job. And I think to be good, you just have to be persistent and really conscious about making everybody happy in the work, and that the work gets done correctly and precisely, and that there aren't mistakes and that kind of thing. I think that's what makes you good, more than just having that kind of energy, willing to put in the extra time and just make sure it's really, really good. Sometimes even make it better than what was expected. I think it's important that you kind of say, no matter what it is, whether you're working on a project that you don't really like or you don't think it's very good, to you it's got to be, it's got to be the Beatles. It's got to be, you're doing the best job possible no matter what it is. This is going to be the best polka album ever, kind of things.
Over the years, you collect lots of pieces of gear and equipment. What are some desert island pieces of gear?
I've got a couple of old mics that I really kind of treasure, and there's one old RCA that I use all the time still. That might be one. But I really transitioned into the digital age where almost everything is kind of virtual. It's important to me that I know my monitor system. This monitor system's really a good system. It's not as client friendly as say the larger speakers we have in our mastering room. But it's if you're sitting in just the right spot, it's a phenomenal great system. It's got honking sub over there and everything. But you really have to, because they're a ribbon tweeter, you really have to sit in the right spot. But this is my, it's a personal studio, so it's designed more for that. But once in a while I'll be recording my friends, and I have to say, come on around here if you really want to hear what it sounds like. But other than, I think probably the things I would want to keep, probably my old Gibson guitar and stuff like that, so that I've had for 40 years. So
you started teaching at SAIT. How did you get into doing that?
I'd never taught before. I don't have, and Mike Matson, there was an opening, and he thought I'd be good at it. The first course I got that I took over was not the one that I think he was thinking of, and it was a pretty difficult one. So it was a bit of trial by fire. It was that music for new media course, and at the time it was totally vague and everything. So, so it was just a case of I started with one course, and then they decided to expand. They asked me to create the mixing and mastering one. So I actually worked that course up, from scratch, which was a lot more fun for me. But it wasn't. I had no intentions of becoming a teacher or anything like that.
After talking with Richard, it is obvious that the recording industry offers a lot of experiences and interesting stories that will last a lifetime.